Hey guys, Super Psyguy here. I'm gonna try to keep this off the cuff. There's no script, there's no nothing. I'm doing this all, I'm trying to make this as real as possible, so here we go. Sai's Christmas wish. Yeah, what the hell? What could it possibly be? Oh, the things that come to mind. When people ask me what I want for Christmas, I usually say, you know, whatever game's coming out, or, you know, books, stuff like that, video games, world domination, things like that. But I always tell them this story. I always tell them, and it's usually an impossibility, but I wish for the same thing every year, and I know it's impossible to have, but I thought I'd try to get the word out about this. So here we go. Let me tell you guys a story. A long time ago, there was this kid named Brian, and he had a really funny spelling of his name, B-R-Y-O-N. Very strange. But Brian had an eBay store when he was like 14, 15, and he drew and sold little mini posters of Sonic the Hedgehog and Friends. And they did okay, you know, they didn't make like a ton of money, but it was enough for like a 14 or 15-year-old to like buy things for himself and not go running to mommy and daddy all the time, so it was kind of cool. Well, one day Brian noticed that this one person kept buying all of his posters. You know, at least one of every single kind. So Brian reached out to this person to see if they wanted like a custom one or something specific or whatever. Turns out that Brian had been talking to, I don't really remember her real name. Turns out Brian had been talking to, for the sake of the story, her name was Lucy. And Lucy was a single mother who had been trying to find unique and different Sonic stuff for her son, a like 4 or 5-year-old who, you know, back in the day, it was really, really, really difficult to find Sonic stuff. Like now it's in Toys R Us and Target, and you can't walk 2 feet without running into like some new Sonic thing that if all this stuff was out when I was a kid, I would be broke as shit. But, So it was cool. Brian was really, really excited that he found like someone else that was like big into Sonic, or just, I guess it wasn't like, you know, it's like a 4 or 5-year-old, but the prospect of like somebody else, like a new kid being indoctrinated into the Sonic world was really, really exciting for Brian. He just thought it was cool. You know, when a little kid's world revolves around like Sonic, you just kind of get like excited that this thought may still be around, that this could still be something that could exist even like when he's older, and it could still be a thing that he can enjoy in his later years. So Brian got to know Lucy pretty well, and they became friends. And one night Brian was looking through his old stuff in his closet, and he found a box that he keeps just kind of hidden in the back, of just full of like really hard to find Sonic stuff, like a Tails doll, and you know, some figurines and some like handheld games and stuff like that, and you know, they're just in this box sitting around. And Brian thought to himself, he's like, you know, I have all this stuff and it just sits here, but I would really like it if someone else could enjoy this. And he thought that the little boy, Lucy's kid, could probably enjoy this a lot more than he would, because it just sits there. He just has it to just have it. He just collects the stuff to just collect. Like, he gets it, looks at it for 5 minutes, and puts it in a box, and doesn't really do anything with it, but just has like, oh, I have this, and thought to himself, he thought, why don't I give a couple of these things, not all of it, but just a couple of these things to this little boy, like the Tails doll, a couple of these games and things like that to this little boy, and then he could actually enjoy it, and maybe Sonic would be as big of an inspiration and as big as a motivator to like be creative as it was for Brian. And then he could find some sort of peace or solace or acceptance or something, or whatever, some special unique thing that Sonic did for him. Maybe he could pass that same sort of spirit on to the little boy. So Brian packed up a lot, not all, but a lot of this stuff into a box and sent it off to Lucy. Brian got a call from Lucy, and she was ecstatic and over the moon, and like just really, really on top, and like just overjoyed that all this unique Sonic stuff was just given to her son. And she was just overjoyed and asked, and she knew that Brian had told her that he like can do voices and stuff like that. And so right then and there, Lucy had a brilliant idea of asking Brian to be Sonic and like thank her son for being such a huge Sonic fan, this was a way to say, like, you know, be like, reward him for being just such a big fan. And before Brian could say anything, there's this little kid on the other line, and Brian pretended to be Sonic. And that kid had a like 2, 3, 4-minute conversation with a very deep voice Sonic. Well, deeper than Steve Urkel's Sonic, which is funny because later now his voice is deeper, so technically maybe it was the real one. Who knows? I don't know. But so Brian was pretty excited about everything because like he felt really good about himself because he helped out a little kid that couldn't get like Sonic stuff easily, and he helped out he helped out a mother that was just trying to make her little boy happy, and he got to be Sonic, and so he was overjoyed and went and told his mom. His mom, you know, understandably was a little kind of worried about this because the internet was kind of a new and different place. So he was kind of worried that all this was authentic. Was a really little boy? Was she trying to like scam free stuff out of him? Was just some alternative motive? You know, it was kind of bizarre. Brian thought it was totally ridiculous. He thought like mom was just being paranoid. You know, later on you would come to find out that there's probably justly like some justification for her paranoia. But at the time he thought that mom was just kind of full of it, like, okay, whatever, and went and told Lucy all this stuff about what his mom said. He's on the phone with her, and all of a sudden she just, you know, she got like really quiet, really upset, and was, you know, just really like not offended but embarrassed and couldn't believe, and was just like felt totally out of place, like she had crossed the line, and hung up immediately. That was the last Brian ever heard of her. Didn't respond to her calls, didn't respond to emails, nothing. That was the last he ever heard of Lucy, except for a letter that I guess had been sent earlier that day, where the letter was full of pictures of Lucy's boy opening up the package and just playing around with all the Sonic stuff, and like it's just this big smile and just having a great time. But Brian never knew what happened to that kid, and wonders like every Christmas, like what's that kid up to? Like what's is that kid still around? Did he like Sonic still? Is he still like big into it? And so if you haven't guessed by now, Brian is me, and I have some internet celebrity now, not like humongous, not, you know, Gaijin Gooba just tweeted like he has like 70,000 followers or 80,000 or something, and you know, not that big. I'm lucky, like what is it, almost 14 or 13 or something, some stupid ass thing. Like I'm not a big deal. Some of my, you know, work's done pretty well, but I always kind of wondered, like, you know, what's this kid doing? How's he doing? How's Lucy? Her name isn't Lucy because I can't remember what the fuck it actually is, but how's she doing? Is her kid still big into Sonic? Was that like a big deal for that kid? Did it help him out later? And did he appreciate it? Did he realize that some random dude on the internet sent him a bunch of Sonic stuff just because he wanted that kid to enjoy Sonic stuff? I don't know I forgot his name completely. I don't even I still have the pictures somewhere. I don't know where the hell they are, but I got them, and I just kind of always wondered what happened to him. I did something about this on my podcast with Chow, and I talked about it, and I just kind of, you know, if anybody knows anyone that kind of has a story like, man, when I was a kid, I got all the Sonic stuff in a box from some dude on eBay, and could you tell him? Just have him post a message here or something, or I don't know. I don't want to become buddy with them. I have no idea. They're probably they got to be 25 by now. That is an old story. That happened a long time ago. That was before Sonic 06. That was Sonic, I think the Dreamcast wasn't even out, or this is really a long time ago. So I just always kind of wondered what happened to this kid, what happened to the mom, and if anybody knows anything, or if you want to help spread the story around or whatever. I just would really my Christmas wish isn't to take over the world. I mean, it is, but I would really just kind of want just totally personal, just really totally selfish. I just kind of want to know what happened to this kid. Is he okay? Is he doing all right? Did that Sonic stuff ever help him out as a kid? Is it gone? Is it torched? Did he hate Sonic? Did he fall out of the fandom at around 06? And I don't really blame him. Just every holiday season, I kind of always wonder, like, what's up? What's going on? So anyway, that's my story. That's my little story. Yeah, thanks for listening. I'll see you guys all later. Thanks. Bye.